everybody, and welcome back to another unboxing video with Jeff from the Suns and Shadows podcast and 0 Point Reviews. I got a fun item in last week and I wanted to get right into it. I got the Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the biography of Robert Englund, and this is a very nice release. If you're looking for a standard edition with a slipcover, you can pretty much get that wherever you get your movies from. If you want the steelbook, however, that is like a Walmart exclusive, so you might want to head up to Walmart if you want a fancy steelbook or you're into that kind of collecting. I'm debating whether I want to get that or not, but the release by itself is very nice. This is a very nice slipcover. It's pretty standard. It does have one of those little windows for the UPC. I'm not like the biggest fan of those because sometimes when you're trying to slip these back in, you end up like kicking or catching the plastic case on the lip or whatever, and it kind of wrecks it up. But this is a very nice O-card / slipcover. I don't know, what do you guys call these? O-covers or O-rings or slipcovers? I like slipcovers personally, so O-rings is kind of like a, I don't know, generic term to me. But the inside, this is the case. Very nice cover art. I really like this. You know, I'm not always the biggest fan of like the hand-drawn custom art, but this is really good. And then you got the inside. And unfortunately, this is not a reversible cover art. That's fine. I do tend to like that, but it's not required. If anything, I might end up swapping this case out with a clear case. You know, like Vinegar Syndrome comes in those really nice clear cases. I might just go ahead and swap that out. But this is a really good documentary. It clocks in at about 2 hours and 10 minutes. It really gets into like the early parts of his career. It definitely builds up to when he gets into the Freddy stuff and his career then after. It's a well-constructed documentary. I actually find this to be a very compelling documentary. I'm gonna probably watch it again. It's really good, and there's some like great anecdotes. There's great stories about he almost did a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Crusades. It was called Crusade. And there's a lot of like great interviews. They got Adam Green, they have Lance Henriksen, Eli Roth, of course. It's Eli Roth. He's a very great film historian, and I really enjoyed listening to everybody. One of my favorite parts is when they were starting to talk about V, the miniseries, and how that all came about, and how it ultimately led into him becoming a more recognizable face worldwide. How that really kind of broke his career open for him. But he's had great movies before, during, and after all of the V and the Nightmare movies. So it's a fantastic release. Now, I feel like the picture quality is really good for this Blu-ray. So this is a high quality Blu-ray release, and there's definitely some extras. I didn't get to check them out, but I'll give you a shot of the back if my camera will line up and focus for you. I apologize if not. I will do a quick little read. It's got a Horror Icons documentary, a little side one, Nightmare Cafe with Jack Coleman, a conversation with the directors, Christopher, and let's see, we got a Robert Englund chatterbox and a peek behind the curtain Dance Macabre and an official trailer. And you know, I can't get over this. We weren't really planning this out for like all of our shows, but we just covered Legend, the TV show with Richard Dean Anderson and John DeLancey. And Robert actually plays a cameo in that show. He actually has an episode. He plays Mordecai, a priest, and he gets to play a little bit of a devilish sort of nefarious character, and it's really fun. And then we're about to jump right into Freddy's Nightmares, the TV show, which when they were talking about this, they did talk about Freddy's Nightmares briefly in here, and I really got a kick out of some of that, but I don't want to like spoil like all the documentary. I mean, with his kind of story, you could talk about him for 4 to like 6 hours and go like really in depth. I feel like they really edited this very well. They focused on the things they needed to as far as telling Robert's story, and it's very captivating, very engaging. Never a dull moment. The 2 hours just absolutely flies by. So if you're a home video enthusiast and you're a big horror fan, I highly recommend picking this release up. This isn't going to be stream it, rent it, whatever. No, I actually would recommend picking this up. And while you're at it, I know it's a little hard to find, but it is free to watch on Amazon Prime. I would also pick up To Hell and Back, or at least check it out, because it is free on Amazon Prime. This almost makes a wonderful companion piece to, the Robert Englund biography here, Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares. And, they almost go hand in hand. They have had a career that intersects at various times and various points throughout their career, and there's so many fun stories between the two. And they get into a little bit of the Freddy versus Jason issue, and they didn't really talk to Robert about it a whole lot, but they did give you the Kane's kind of side of the story, where he felt like he really got passed over and how it really brought him down. But great release. I highly recommend this. Recommend picking it up. Currently available on Amazon, like I said, your normal places. Now, one other thing I'll mention before I let you all go is when you take the shrink wrap off the Blu-ray case, this the slipcase is very loose. Watch. So be careful when you've taken the shrink wrap off and you put the case back in. The slip cover is just a tick big, so it'll just drop right on out. So keep an eye out on that. But other than, just a couple little minor things like, just a slip cover, and you could have done. I will always complain about run times, but not in this one. This one you could have included way more. But then again, I haven't checked out all the special features, so don't take my word for it. There's probably plenty more in those special features. But I highly recommend picking this up. This is a great release from Cinedigm, and it's number 11. So in their little volume line, I don't have any of the other ones. So hey, if anybody's got some comments about this line, and hey, go ahead and pick some of the other ones up, please let me know. I'm very curious to check them out if there's some good recommendations out there. But I wanted to get this video out and give you a couple of my thoughts, and it was fun growing up with Robert. I followed him since basically the show and went through Nightmare and Urban Legend. They get into, like I said, they get into a lot of fun stories, and it's definitely worth checking out. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.